According to Tony Jones of The Athletic, Walker Kessler and the Utah Jazz are not expected to reach an agreement on a rookie contract extension, therefore likely to make him a restricted free agent next summer, something that the Golden State Warriors are going through right now with Jonathan Kuminga, that Philadelphia is going through right now with Quentin Grimes, even with only a week up to training camp, and with pretty much every other team having their roster set, they're still going through it. So that might be what Utah is kind of planning for, and having to go through that with Walker Kessler. Might they instead try to trade him this season? Could he be a trade target again for a team like the Lakers? Are they even interested after signing DeAndre Ayton, Jackson Hayes, and having a more improved center rotation? I'm not sure they are, but you already know Laker fans, and maybe yourself, do want him, and would not be opposed to making a trade for him this season. However, looking beyond a trade here, I think the more important thing to note is that they can't come to an agreement on a contract, which likely means that Walker Kessler and his agent are asking for a pretty high amount, an amount that Utah does not believe he's currently worth, even after coming off a season of averaging 11 points per game, 12.2 rebounds per game, 2.4 blocks per game, shooting 66% from the field, trying to become a three-point shooter, but once again not going well for him, though is a very good rim protector, is one of, if not a top 3 rebounder in the entire league, still is only 24 years old yet, and would theoretically be a good fit for a team and to man their center position and last line defense for maybe the next decade. They don't believe he's worth the contract that he wants. Now we have yet to hear about the contract or the specific number that he wants and is currently looking for. If I had to guess, it's probably somewhere around what Quentin Grimes or Jonathan Kuminga are pushing for, somewhere around that 25 to 30 million per year kind of amount. You know, I'm not sure he'd be worth that, but I guarantee that he does believe that he's worth it. Again, only being 24 and is one of the best young centers in the entire NBA, so he definitely is trying to push for a pretty lucrative contract, and one that goes beyond simply a 1 or 2 year contract. The same thing that both Quentin Grimes and Kuminga are pushing for at this current moment. Or even apart from those two, comparing him to a player at his own position, maybe somebody like a Daniel Gafford, for example, Gafford signing a 3-year, $54 million contract extension, or somebody like an Ivica Zubac, him signing a 3-year, $59 million contract last summer. Is Walker Kessler really more valuable than they are? More than a guy like Zubac that put up 17, 12, and 1 last season? Or even Daniel Gafford, who's pretty damn valuable himself? Is he worth $10 million per year more than those two are? Maybe even more than that? I'm not sure he would be, even though he is younger and maybe has more potential, maybe. I'm not sure he would be worth that much, and I'm not sure that would be a fair contract to give him if he is in fact looking for that much. Again, roughly 25 to 30 million per year. And well, with that in mind here, would he even be worth trading for at that point? I mean, not only do you have to trade for him, give up legitimate trade assets, and not to mention a very high asking price. Reports saying that the Jazz at one time wanted 1 to 2 first-round draft picks, some reports even saying 2 to 3 first-round draft picks, likely a young player with that package, you know, something like Dalton Connect, 2 first-round draft picks, and maybe a first-round draft pick swap, and or the removal of the pick protection they currently owe the Utah Jazz. That's a pretty high price to give up, and obviously one that they have not been willing to give up for him. Then on top of that, you gotta pay him to retain him. Next summer, give him a contract that might be 4 years, 100 million, maybe even 4 years, 120 million. You know, at that point, I'm not sure the price would be worth it. You know, I didn't think the price would be worth it before that. Now with the added contract in there and possibly a contract dispute, one that might last the entire summer like with Golden State and Jonathan Kuminga, or with Philadelphia and Quentin Grimes, I'm not sure I'd want to willingly go into that kind of headache, as it currently looks like it will turn out that way. And no, not only about the trade, the contract, but working with Danny Ainge too. Yes, I know they have worked a trade with him before. He was part of the Russell Westbrook trade back in 2023, actually giving them Jared Vanderbilt, D'Angelo Russell, and Malik Beasley, which was a pretty decent trade for them, but I'm not going to willingly work with him again. I mean, more often than not, I think the trades go in his favor, rather than the other team's favor, so I'd probably avoid it if I can't go in any other direction, which Lakers currently can in my opinion, simply ignoring it and not making the trade for Walker Kessler. And the only way I think I'd go back on this and change my mind about it would be if one of two things happen. One of which being that DeAndre Ayton gets hurt, maybe he's lost for the season, and definitely knock on wood here, hoping that won't happen and hoping for a healthy year for him and really their entire team. But if that won't happen, maybe a combination of he gets hurt and Jackson Hayes gets hurt, or maybe they both underperform, then I guess maybe circle back on it if the price would lower for Walker Kessler, if Danny Ainge is being a bit more workable, if reports come out about a number that he might want and it's a decent number, not anything too absurd, and the Jazz don't circle back and actually sign him to that contract, then maybe I'd come back to it and maybe think about it. But I think that'll pretty much do it for this one, and if you enjoyed the video, then I'll greatly appreciate it if you drop a like, subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and hit that notification bell to never miss out when I upload a video. But as always, thank you for watching and have a great day or night.